All right. So I guess this is fifth fifth time is the charm. So I've had a lot of people question or ask how to create signs or text that they can place on buildings. I've also had a lot of people ask how do I make something glow, or how do I make something look like neon, or basically have this glow effect. So I figured I would combine the two because they usually kind of go hand in hand, and it's pretty straightforward. So I'm just gonna make the assumption that you know how to create a Y type, you know how to create a model, you know how to work your way like around in 3ds Max, and you have GIMS Evo and all of these things installed already. So it's gonna be pretty quickly. I'm gonna move quick because I'm just gonna make the assumption that you know these things. If not, pause the video, check what I do, follow along. So first things first, for text, what you want to do is you want to create a text plus object. So we're just going to select text plus. I'm going to click on the middle. I'm going to right click to deselect. I'm going to go to our modifiers. So we have text plus selected. In the text field, this is where the text you want to use goes. So in my case, I'm going to type Yoda next line sucks. And I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to find the font that I want to use. And because I hate life, I'm going to go with Comic Sans, if I can find it. Comic Sans, there we go. So I have Comic Sans selected. So for size, I'm going to go with 5. Obviously, best thing to do is import a building as a reference, or the building you want to work on, so you have the size. Because scaling things in 3D or in CodeWalker is still iffy as fuck. You can do it, more than likely, but it's iffy. So we're gonna scale it down to 5, and we're gonna go to extrude, where we're gonna type 0.5. So now we have our text. So we're gonna right click on it, gonna convert it to editable poly, like so. Then we're gonna go to hierarchy, gonna click on effect pivot, center to object, and then turn that back off. Gonna right click on select and move. Gonna right click on all these arrows to center it. Then we're gonna rotate and click on angle snapping. And then we're gonna turn it 90 degrees just so we have it standing. All right, there we go. So I have created 2 textures. Both DDS files, as you can see here. It's just a green color, and then we have like a pink neon. They're both pretty neon colors. So for the first time, or for the first thing you want to do is you want to take the texture you want to use. So either like a white color, or if you want to make it as a sign, like say on the police station, obviously you still want to use a texture that fits. So maybe it's a metal texture, or it's something else. But in this case, I want this to glow. I want this to be neon glowing. So I'm just going to use these colors. So I'm going to take the green one, drag it on top of our model. You can see that it puts it on top of the model by itself and everything. And then in GIMS, you go to material editor. You select ID1, and then you click on option. It's going to ask you to convert it to a GTA material. You can just click on yes. And here is where the magic happens when it comes to glowing. Under the shader, you want to switch from default to emissive. And for the parameter set, you want to either select emissive, is emissive night, or emissive strong. In this one, I'm gonna go for strong. I don't think there's too much difference between strong and just normal emissive, but hey, we're just gonna go for strong. In diffuse texture, want to make sure you have embed selected. Emissive HDR is where you select how much you want the material to glow. So in this case, I want this to be, just glow. So I'm gonna turn this all the way up to 16. Hard alpha is just gonna turn that off, and tessellation is down. So you want to close these two, And then you want to open your material editor. So this one up here. And then you want to click on pick material from object, and you want to select our text. It's going to give you the multi-sub object. And then you want to click on add. So we have a second one. Gonna right click on our already created material, click on copy. And then you're going to paste it as a copy in the second slot. Then you want to select our material again. Go to material editor. Select ID2, which is a new one we created. Go to options. Go to diffuse texture, and then we're selecting the second color we want to use. Obviously, if you're just going to use one color, you don't have to do this. You can just keep it as one material. But in this case, I want to have two different colors, so I'm just going to apply both of them. So if we go to flat color, you can see that we now have the green on the front-facing surfaces and the pink on the sides. And this is because this is the IDs that's been set when we created this. So if we go to polygon, you can see if we select these, like the front-facing surfaces, they have set ID 1. And if we select the sides, they have set ID 2. So say I want the C to be another color. I'm just going to set the ID to 2. So now the C is the pink color. So next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your colors are set to white, more than likely, because you want this to glow at all times almost. Illumination, keep it to white. Alpha, just keep it to 100. And then you want to create your object as per usual, like when you want to import something into GTA. So we're going to go to create object. I'm going to go to models. Going to apply our game mesh modifier. You can apply it on top of a editable poly. It will just convert it by itself, so don't worry about that. And then we create our model. Click in the middle of the scene, like so. And then we take our text plus 001 and move it into our GIMS V model. And then we rename this one to neon underscore tutorial underscore high. And we're just going to copy neon tutorial, and then the model 001, we're just going to call neon tutorial as so. So, going to go back here, and then we're going to select our model again. Going to go to editable poly, polygon, hit Control A to select everything. You can also drag, doesn't matter. Just make sure you have everything selected. Going to clear all, and then you click on auto smooth, like so. This should make sure that when you look at it from any angle, you should be able to see it glowing. If your normals or your smoothing groups are incorrect, it would cause issues where, like, if you look from below, it's not going to glow, but the second you look from above, it will glow. Just make sure you do that. Whoops. So select everything, clear all, auto smooth, as so. And you can double check if you want, if you apply an edit normals modifier. And select the display length to 1. You can see that it has the normals showing around the text, and this looks pretty much like it should. So we're just going to delete this again. There we go. So now we have these set up. We have our textures embedded. We're just going to export. So I'm going to export it into my tutorial output folder. Click on OK, and then click on continue. In the meantime, we can open our white type creator. Click on white type creator, click on ODR browser, open again. Select our neon tutorial, which is located in our output folder, which we just exported. So we select that, click on BB's calculate, close, and import. Object RPF, just going to be called models. Flags is set to 0. BS radius, just leave that as is. HD texture 100. LOD distance 200. And we don't have embedded, or we don't have an external texture dictionary. So click on custom white type name. We're just going to call this for neon underscore tutorial. Click on OK, and then click on create. There we go. So we're going to go to our create white type folder, and you can see I have my neon tutorial white type at the top. That's the one we just created. So in OpenIV, you want to go to your mods update RPF DLC packs, and then in one of your DLC packs that you have created, in one of the first tutorials I made, you want to import it into one of them as per usual. So in this case, I'm just going to go with my test folder where I already have a little bit of shit. So I'm going to take my neon tutorial white type XML and just put that in here. So you can see I have the white type at the top. Make sure that your BB min-max is actually correct, or you're going to have issues with it disappearing at like certain angles. Then we go to our output folder where we have the model. So some stupid tutorial output. Take the neon tutorial.odr and import that. So we go to neon tutorial. You can see we have the model, and everything seems to be all right. The smoothing group seems to be good. There's a slight chance something might be off, but we can see that when we get in game. So we have these two. Now you want to open up CodeWalker as per usual. And I'll let it load up. Just gonna hit T, just show the menu. Click on new project, and then we're gonna create a new white or Y map. So in my case, I spawn on the station over here, so I'm just gonna create it just for easy access. So go to my Y map, click on Y map, and then new entity, which is gonna be neon underscore tutorial. So there we go. Then I'm just gonna move it. I'm gonna move it over here to the wall of this building. I'm gonna hit R to rotate. And then there we go. I'll just move it up a little bit as such. There we go. Then I'm gonna go back to my Y map. I'm going to click on calculate flags and calculate extents as always. I'm going to click on save YMap, which I'm going to also save in my output folder just for easy access. I'm going to rename this to neon tutorial. After I've saved this, I'm going to remove it from my project. And I'm going to open it back up. This is so we can create the manifest. If you don't do this, it will create a manifest for the old YMap name, which would be map 1 or map 01, which is incorrect. So just remove it and open it back up in your project, and go to manifest generator, click on generate, save manifest, which I'm also going to put in output. Just leave the name as default. There we go. And then we have our neon tutorial Y type and neon tutorial YDR, which we are also going to put in our output folder as so. So we have the manifest. We have the YDR, we have the YMap, and we have the Y type, not the ODR. The ODR is the open format. We don't need that. So just these 4 files. I'm going to copy these, and I'm going to find my server, which in my case I have on my desktop, FX server. Go to your resources, and I have my tutorials, and then I have this one called Y type in my stream folder. I'm going to paste these in, so we have the 4 files in our stream folder. All right. I'm just going to fire up the server. I'm going to close up CodeWalker real quick, just so it doesn't kill my PC. I'm going to fire up the server. I'm going to fire up FiveM. Like so. I'm going to join. And if everything worked out like it should, we should now have text that is glowing. There's a small chance, like I said, that if you look at it from certain angles, it's not going to show correctly. If that happens, just in 3ds Max, just re-import the model you exported, and then redo the smoothing groups, and then try again. But in this case, it should more than likely work. We'll see in a second. All right. So, might be laggy for you, but there we go. We now have Yoda socks. You can see it's very bright and it's shining even though it's daytime. And then when we turn it to night, it glows. So here is what I mean, and I can show you why this is happening. So if we get closer, and if I no clip and move up, you can see when I go above it, it starts glowing. That's because the normals are broken, and that's more than likely due to the conversion. Like when we export this, as you can see, when we export this, it doesn't have any lines in the actual font. It only has lines over here. So to fix this, we hide this that we already created, just because we don't need that. We click on import. We import the Neon tutorial ODR, which we exported from our output, as so. Just gonna close our server. Now you can see there's a lot of geometry in the actual text itself. That's because whenever you export something, it converts everything into triangles. So, and that's more than likely messing with the smoothing group. So we go to editable mesh, click on vertex first of all, select everything, Control A. In weld, we do 0, 0, 0, 0, and then select. And then we go to polygon, where we select everything, clear all, and then click on auto smooth, like so. We also want to make sure our UVs are correct, so we want to apply a UVV map, which we're going to turn into a box. Click on fit, and then in length, we're just going to do 1, 1, 1, like so, and then right click on it, and then collapse to. There we go. So that should fix it. So in this case, it should now glow on every angle. So if we export again, just export it into our output. Deselect the top one because that's the first one we made. The bottom one is the new one we imported, which is this one we see here. Click on continue. And then we're going to find our output folder, and we have the ODR. We're going to wait for it to export, which in some cases can take a while. For some reason with text, it can take anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes. So the ODR, drag that back into OpenIV. Open it up just to check. Everything seems all right. So you can see that's all of this. So we're just going to take the Neon tutorial YDR, put that into our streaming folder, like so. Going to fire our server back up, and that should fix the issue with the text not glowing correctly. So let's take a look. Obviously, there's a few steps you can skip if you're just trying to create text with normal textures on it. In that case, you don't want it to glow, so just make sure you have the correct vertex colors and you should be good to go. All right, so it should just show up. There we go. You can see it already glows more than it did before. If you set it to night, it is now super glowy. Obviously, you can tone the glow down with the HDR in the shader, but there we go. So that's how you create glowing text. So there you go. I hope you enjoy and have fun with adding text to all the buildings in GTA. All right, I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye.